What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to show you some very interesting books that increase in value when Amazon or a third-party news seller goes out of stock. And I'm going to show you some strategies that you can use using the track product feature to then turn those into profitable books that you can buy for your business and resell on Amazon. So I'm going to show you three different books here. The first one is Hidden Villages of Britain. And if you take a look at its Keepa chart in the last year, you can see that it's selling for well over $50, $60, $70, sometimes well over $100. But what's interesting about this book is that if you look back further into its history, you can see that for a long time it was selling new for about $18, $19, Amazon and third party new. Now, what happened between 2019 was that you saw it go out of stock and you saw the price of that book rise significantly above what its new value was. And again, most recently, here in the last year, you can see the same thing had happened where Amazon went out of stock. The third parties, new sellers didn't go out of stock. They kind of just rose their prices as the used prices raised as well. But you can see that if you were to have bought this book new, back $18, $19, that you could have sold this book and made a significant amount of money. So therein lies a strategy where you could use a track product feature and you could track the Amazon new price for that $19 or maybe even the third party new price for that $19. And when that happens, maybe buy a few copies. And look, that actually has happened recently. Amazon came back in stock. Third party has come all the way back down to $14.93. So it is possible that this book could go out of stock again. And if you had a couple copies, then you could go around, turn around and sell them back for, this $70, $80, $90 when maybe eventually gets to that point. Now, something to worry about, right, to try to hedge some of your risk is I wouldn't buy too many copies because it is not guaranteed that this book will go out of stock again in the future. Like, we don't know if Amazon will, never stop selling this again. There are some indicators or some clues, which would be stock quantities that you could take a look at. But I wouldn't buy too many copies. It's just something to be aware of. So let's go ahead and show you another example. Okay, so The Decisive Moment. If you take a look at the last year's worth of data, this book is selling for over $500, $500, $800, $900, maybe the collectible there, $700. But if you take a peek back into its history, again, you can see that it was selling new for about $60 or $70 by Amazon. Now, you've seen a time period where it did go out of stock, and you can see that it did sell quite a number of times for a very inflated price. So again, this is a book that maybe you'd want to set a tracker for. And if Amazon ever comes back on the listing at, let's say, $95, you could say, okay, well, or $100 if Amazon ever comes back on the listing, I want you to track that for me, and you could set that there and you could start tracking it. Okay, now the third product I'll show you, same, similar story. You can see that if you just were to pull up this back in the days book right now, you would say, oh, well, it's selling new for 35. But if you look back into its history, for the, 6 months before, the last 6 months before December, you can see that it was selling for a considerable amount of money, like well over $100. And probably what happened here is that, there's probably supply chain issues and couldn't print as many copies, but the price of this book, became very inflated. So right now you see that you could buy this new on Amazon for $35. You can buy it new third party for about $26. So the question is, could you buy a couple of these copies and hold them and then resell them later when Amazon and third party goes out of stock and the used value increases? Well, if you do decide about it to buy a couple of these copies, one way that you could notify yourself of when this maybe goes out of stock or when the used price goes back up is to actually do the reverse. Right now, when we use the track product feature, we're always tracking for the price to get to a certain value. When it gets to $5 or lower, I want you to send me a message. But you could also do the reverse. You can actually switch to increase the increase tracking. So you can actually track for when the price gets to a dollar amount that's this high or higher than that. So let's say you bought a couple of these copies here new for $35 and you wanted to know when maybe Amazon went out of stock, third party went out of stock, so that would then tell you, hey, I could then, ship this into Amazon FBA and put this in inventory. Well, what you would do is, unfortunately, there is no give me a notification when Amazon goes out of stock. But under the Pro version, right, under the pro version here of Keepa, what you could do is for the new offer count, you could say when the new offer count goes to 0, send me a notification. Or you can say when the new price reaches a certain level. So you can say if the new price reaches, let's say $100 in this case, maybe that indicates that for whatever reason, right, Amazon went out of stock, now the new price is going up. Or you could also say notify me when the used price gets over 100. And all you'd have to do is switch to increase tracking to say $100 or more new, $100 or more used. Okay, and then what you could do is you could just go and just update your tracking there. So now what's going to happen is if any of those parameters are true, if the new price gets to $100, that's third party merchant, or if the used price gets to $100 new, then probably what is likely to have happened is that Amazon went out of stock and therefore the used price is shot back up. And that would be an indicator of when you can send your inventory back into Amazon FBA to resell. So this is just another strategy and another tactic that's out there. But remember to hedge your risk, don't buy too many copies, because just because this book went out of stock and its price, increased significantly does not mean that it will ever go out of stock again in the future. But what it does indicate is that that book does hold value when Amazon does go out of stock, and therefore owning it, for a longer period of time might actually be a good idea, because it's like you're investing. It's almost like investing your money into an asset that its price will increase over time. So again, don't buy too many copies, but it's just another strategy to think about when buying books. So I hope you found value in this. If you have any questions for your Amazon FBA business, whether that be sourcing, whether that be systems or processes or mechanics or tracking, any of that stuff, let me know in the comment section below. I'd be happy to make a video and help you out in any way that I can. So that's all I got for you today. Hit the like button, subscribe, and goodbye.